Chakula Afya Kituyo, kuacha mocha duka yako kwa ajili ya ufumbuzi yako yote ya afya, kwa sababu wote wako marumu afya mahitaji: shinikizo la damu, high cholesterol, kupoteza uzito, ugonjwa wa kisukari na kwa erection. Sisi ndio wenye nguvu Blue Express na Nyekundu Express Capsules. Uhakika yapatia kila mwanaume muda kudumu election na moja saa ya kutumia product yetu. Kapiso hizi kuongeza furaha ya kijinjisha kwa wewe na mpenzi wako, kutoa roko ngumu erection, lerif kutoka kumwaga mapema. Wito sasa kwa utaratibu 0203899287 au 0793055740. Sisi tuko katika 11 Warren Street, London, W1T 5LG.
Paul Couture and Hype Entertainment, in association with Anek Foundation Charity, presents Blaze the Runway Fashion Show and live music video on Saturday 28th of February 2015, 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. featuring Atumpan, DJ Branty, Rasking Bobo, Ninimegisha, Amula, Live Martinez, and many more. Guest of honor Pauline Long, host Hyper Hype at the Red Gate, 151 Hurst Street, Birmingham B5, 6DS. For more information, visit Facebook, Hype Entertainment. Blaze the Runway.
Hi, Enyaliangeze Sam, Nimuranya Kula wa Uganda Vision.
Hello everyone and welcome to Uganda Vision. My name is Emily Nyanzi, your presenter for today. This channel is always here on Sky Channel 182 Bain Television. We have a good friend from Nigeria. Since it's Nigeria's national election, he's going to talk to us and tell us how he's thinking about it and all the ideas. Hello sir, how are you? What's your name?
I'm Gabriel.
How are you doing?
I'm alright, thanks. You?
That's good. I'm good, thank you. So it's next month is like Nigeria's national election. Like, what do you have to say about it?
Well, everybody's looking forward to Nigerian election because it's such an important country in Africa. So I wish Nigerians to go out and vote. They should go out and pick up their voting card, PVCs, and they should make sure they vote for the right candidates. They should not sell their vote to anyone.
Okay.
And I wish them a free and fair and peaceful election.
As you've heard from our friend from Nigeria, and they're having their national election next month. So please, all Ugandans, we should all work hard and pray for them so it goes well and successful. Coming up next is our continuation from the last week's documentary, and that's The Bride Price. I hope you enjoy it and see you after this.
Opendia Jay's daughter left her husband after just a few months. He would do no work himself and treated her like a slave. She was forced to do everything for her family. Eventually, she felt she had to leave.
To go bino to timora report ka paka nyara no eye go mito lim. Ta wachiro gon lim ma ini mito chi miane na or atieko oro.
Opendia Jay's daughter found a new husband with whom she had children, but her first husband continued to insist on a return of his bride price.
Ta wachiro gon anyalo kwon kuma dako perni iye imake chuoro ibolo jera oduok ridoki.
The new husband had no money, so the burden continued to fall on Opendia Jay. He was arrested, and whilst in jail, mainly due to bribes made by the first husband, he was forced to sign a document agreeing a refund of the bride price.
Onyo hongo ma jomaka jo tere na bioga. Minyo emito na ye ket chingan maduoko dhiang. So kenyo aminyo foda kwero ti wadon jera ti gaki boka par gario amoko aker tienda me.
Having been beaten into signing the document, he was released. But as soon as he left the prison, he went on the run because he knew he could not afford the refund.
So minya ringo wako amale malito madit swa tek. Munyo ana ringo wako. Duong mere onyokoro. Sama chiemo ango giemo tire. Anantie bede pa ji kosa padano. Ka bedo endelaria deki kosa dwe. Koriema doka kore kaman. Ameno. Kenya mawinje lito swa tek. Straight jola oma. Sane ranga mapagi moro worgo dichieng. Police re woto pecho ka osir kale woto ka gagara simo gikoro wache ni kiri duoki. To kelo rachande makiri nyithindo nyoye josoma. Akinyalo nyer jo uniform. Akinyalo nyer jo nangaruka. Kitaba kinyalo nyer jo. So nyo. Paka jon tiama paka ana banti. Gichando maditu makiwache.
There are precious few who are prepared to speak out about bride price. But Miriam Matembe is a former minister responsible for ethics and fighting corruption and a co-draftee of Uganda's 1995 constitution. She is convinced that the persistence of bride price is because women are not being recognized for what they are.
Both men and women do not know who a woman is. And that is the reason why they treat her as secondary class citizen or as rubbish or something like that. Because they do not know that women are full human beings in their own right. Society does not know the potential, the talents, the wisdom of women, and it does not know that the denial of their ability to realize their potential is the denial of Uganda's development. The girls themselves, for instance, who are not educated like me, who knows that I'm valuable without attachment to bride price, they still attach their value to bride price. I remember very, very well when I was growing up, I had an aunt, my father's sister. She used to be battered and violated by, I think, vagabond husband. And many times she would run home to come for rescue. And after 3 or 4 days, my father, unfortunately, would turn against her and say, "You are useless. You are useless. That's why your husband chased you away." And my aunt, and I was young, about 7 years, she would pitifully say, "I'm not useless. I produced sons for this man. I'm not useless. I brought in bride price in this home." And you know, that answer really struck me. It's one of the things that inspired me to go and fight against gender inequality. Because it showed to me that my poor aunt, and of course generally many women whom I was seeing suffering in the village, knew that they had no value. But they are only valuable when they bring in bride price and when they produce sons. Many times when people talk to me of this is our culture, I tell them we cannot afford to live in a cultural museum. I mean, customs, there are so many customs and cultures in this country, ranging from or differing from culture to culture, tribe to tribe, which really are harmful and they injure women and they undermine their humanity. But the biggest asset or weapon that will help us decisively do away with bride price will be empowerment of our people in terms of formal education, where both men and women get education, they go to school, they get their degrees, they get jobs, and they work. And therefore they have a say. In this country, there is nobody who doesn't know that domestic violence cuts across every ethnicity group, every culture, every generation, every educational level. Let me tell you, some women members of parliament in Uganda are battered, they are thrown out of their homes, they are tortured, they suffer. Who doesn't know about domestic violence? the vice president, our former vice president, because when she was so tired, she went outside publicly. She declared to this whole nation that her husband has been battering her, and she's tired and she quit. In November, my second son went to marry. I told those people, me, I don't like bride price. And I told him, I don't want it. So when they came, we negotiated and they said, okay, no bride price, no bride price. Then down the road, they said, okay, we want the following gifts. So many things, too much. We said, but hey, this is like turning into a bride price. And my husband and I put our foot down. We said, no, we are not going to take that. And in the end, we said, if you insist, we shall cancel the marriage. But eventually, we got together and we came to an understanding, and the bride price we never gave bride price. So many people, when they stick to their guts, they can do away with it, you see.
On our journey through Uganda, we met some very brave and strong women who have endured and come through to a brighter future. Doreen is one of them. Her story has a happier ending than most. After the by now familiar story of violence and rejection, she lived on the streets for a while, begging for food for her children. But she actively tried to find herself another husband, and this time she seems to have found a good man.
Pitie mere wano pura doli ati chinga michuani weka kede ya oti poto kena araba tuwede koriama oti poto bala macha arabe gira ma puro deko kwanyo deko chato lieti mi penyo tuwero ibuta bo chat gino konyiri kidara muket go chati ter kidati ni duali rara uniform go mite ready poli oti office kuno e kwanyo deko mina omia gena dide dingyo be etwero ber podi dada rango.
However, her husband still clings on to some traditional values.
If you have not paid the bride price, it's just like you are staying with that woman illegally. But when you present that bride price, then it is legal now that is your wife.
Her husband may be a man with a more modern outlook, but he is fairly traditional when it comes to knowing who is in the right.
Most cases, she could be on the wrong. And with the women, maybe if they are tired, that's when they can just chop wires anyhow. Then for us husbands, you have to say, leave her peace. But I'm always, I'm a reasonable, to me, according to my judgment, I'm a reasonable man because I hate beatings and this. But I hate beating, but I can rebuke. And that is where it ends.
Very few women would feel empowered to challenge him. In Kampala, we went to another member of the Court of Appeal, Mr. Justice Amos Twinomajuni. On a tribunal of 5 judges, including 2 women, he was the only one who stood for making bride price illegal in Uganda.
Originally, it was supposed to mean security for good behavior. If I marry your daughter, I am supposed to give you something to ensure that I look after her well. Also, it had the opposite effect of ensuring that the girl will behave well during the continuance of the marriage. But as of now, it does not mean that anymore. It is a price that you pay in order to get somebody's daughter. And it is refundable. And I don't think it is a good thing anymore. Gifts, yes, they are quite perfectly okay. I have written a judgment in a constitutional petition in which I have argued that gifts are commendable, are acceptable. But the bride price in which parents demand and get paid, and where a refund is expected when the marriage breaks down, to me, I don't think it is no longer justified.
Justice Twinomajuni and Kenneth Kakuru both come from the west of Uganda. but their interpretations are quite different. Kakuru says that his culture proves that bride price does not exist. However, Justice Twinomajuni is convinced that it certainly persists throughout the rest of Uganda.
And the judgment I have talked about, Kakuru made a submission there before we made a judgment. I don't agree with him, though we come from almost a similar culture. He is not being realistic. That is what used to happen very many years ago. But today it has become bride price in the English sense. You see, they are selling.
Justice Twinomajuni even suspects that Kenneth Kakuru is not being entirely honest about what goes on in their own culture.
I and Kakuru, we come from the same culture. We marry from them, they marry from us. I know what they do. I know that at the moment, even when they exchange gifts, that is for public consumption. Behind doors, bride price has been paid. In many cases, bride price has been paid. Today, in educated people, most people like me, I don't think I would demand bride price of my daughter, but I would not reject gifts from my prospective sons-in-law, but I would not demand for bride price today.
We asked Justice Twinomajuni about the reasons why bride price still exists. He feels certain that the problem begins with education.
Generally speaking, men don't like to educate their daughters to say beyond Form 6, because by that time the girls are beginning to grow some breasts, and it is high time that bride price came in, because they have been waiting for it. So they don't want to keep them at school. After Form 6, they know how to write their names and read, so they can now wait for the next man who will bring the animals. You see, the poorer I am, the quicker I want it, and therefore the more easily I want to remove the girl from school so that I can get it as quickly as possible.
In the recent Court of Appeal, 4 out of 5 judges rejected a change in the law because they said that the existence of bride price had not been proved to their satisfaction.
My difference with them is that I know I'm a Ugandan, I've lived in Uganda society, I've practiced law in Uganda society, and I know, and it doesn't have to be proved to me, that bride price is taking place. And that's why I said bride price, as I understand it, to me, I said should be declared unconstitutional.
Bride price has been a part of Ugandan culture for many years, but maybe attitudes are beginning to change.
Tisobola kabiri kufumbira kuba ntandika atya kibiri kufumbira baje kabiri batandika ole yena atandike kunkuba kulwa mali ate nga nze ndi kumaka gange nga nze mwene n'abaana bange kabiri mfumbira ki.
My father thinks the appreciation you can give him is take care of his daughter well. That is appreciation enough. There's nothing you're going to give him to replace me in the home, for instance. I'd love to hang around with him and tell stories. No cow is going to replace that.
Woto dongo samsa go nyuko be pong do kare dana pak nywana ma
inyako ai kidinyo mere ayen to ai ni nywa mere tikini yang ni ngato bedo kishi koso bedo pino etingo dana manyalo nekini samoro je.
You give a gift, it is a gift. Don't come for it because things have gone sour.
If men know they're not going to get it back, they're going to be so against paying it in the first place.
You can't take somebody's daughter, produce 10 children by her, stay with her for 40 years, then you expel her and you expect a refund. It's in any culture, in any civilization, however much you might even want to call it primitive, it doesn't make sense.
It used to be a useful and beneficial culture, but because it has been abused and manipulated, it promotes domestic violence, and in fact, it has lost its value and it should be abandoned.
If Uganda is to move forward as a leading African nation, it cannot afford to treat half its population as commodities. Isn't it time that women were not bought and sold? That weddings were not places of transaction? Many people in Uganda continue to insist that bride price is merely a gift, but they seem to be concentrating on only those people in the country who can afford to see bride price as a gift. At village level, brides continue to be treated as little better than...
I want to take this opportunity to invite you with your family. We are having our Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, all the way from Kenya. She will be with us on March the 20th, March the 21st, March the 22nd. She is coming along with our son whom she's groomed. This young man has been prayed for, and they are coming with a double anointing, what I would call a 2-generation anointing, and we're going to have a wonderful time. So it is my privilege to welcome you to this wonderful 3 days of meetings, which I believe that is going to be transforming. It is entitled New Beginnings. I believe that the Lord is doing new things in the lives of His people, and He wants you to be part of it. The address is 109A Bramshot Avenue, Charlton, SE 7HX. We are in the southeast. This is a special time that is just special for you, and we are expecting to see you there. Come with your family, come expecting God to do great and mighty things. Your life will not be the same again. Until then, God bless you, and I see you when you come. Bye-bye now.
Coming up next is Mr. Chewalabye Male, the CEO of Buganda Land Board, the presentation on the 2014 Uganda Convention. Hope you enjoy it. See you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Semaganda. The Honorable Ministers from the Republic of Uganda, the Honorable Ambassadors, in observance of time, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chewalabye Male, David from Buganda Land Board, Katasu Buganda Kingdom. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Buganda Land Board. I was requested to make a presentation on the opportunities available on the returned estate, the estate which has just been handed over to Buganda Kingdom by the Republic of Uganda. And as my article normally says, that in order for people to remember what we have told them, just make a few remarks. So I will not take long, so that you can remember what I've been able to present. I start with that one. That shows when we are receiving part of the 213 titles which were returned by His Excellency the President of Uganda. And when he did his function also in our board, also received those titles which are safely kept with us. We were told recently another 82 titles are ready for collection, but our particular was in the USA, but now he has gone back. I believe in the next couple of days we shall also receive those titles. So I'd like to appreciate the Republic of Uganda for such a guest and His Excellency the President. On 31st August 2013, 31st July 2013, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda signed a memorandum with His Majesty the Kabaka of Buganda, which detailed a number of assets which are being paid to the kingdom, and this memorandum became effective on 1st of August 2013. And that meant that all those assets which are listed below, which I'm going to show you, whether we have the titles or not in our custody, they all require that they are under now the management and control of Buganda Land Board, wherever they are. So that's why the issue of titles is normally a secondary category. And I have my Honorable Minister here. Honorable Nata, who normally interface on land issues. And this MOU covered a list of those properties, which you can see, and clearly says, all land confiscated which used to belong to the government of Buganda Kingdom in the urban centers and towns. And this covers land formerly controlled by Kampala District Land Board, largely. All that was returned to the kingdom. And also the former administrative headquarters, those are normally the Gombolas and Masaza. Any land which is not claimed or utilized by anyone, all where there are no settlements, both in rural and peri-urban. This is an extract in the memorandum. I know some people have been discussing this in the various political forums, but I like to stick to the technical issues. And the law says these are facts. A land on Mitiana Road, this normally in the past, in the 60s, used to export vegetables to Europe. It is still available to undertake the following ventures. The various markets in Buganda Kingdom, and also compensation. The Kawaka for the plot is now on Kampala Road, which was given to Mbale University. They put out their building, but we are going to be compensated. At that time, Buganda had also built a house in London. This house was sold, but it has got to be compensated. So those who have given the address, whenever you pass there, that building you see, that was built by Buganda then. Yes, you can just wave, but it no longer belongs to us. And also the government agreed to renew all the leases. Buganda Kingdom had leases on government land. So these leases are supposed to be renewed. Those which expired. There are those which are not yet expired. And also land where there are Sazas and Magombolas. And some of these properties returned, they look like that. Each of these Sazas has approximately 8 square miles. And we had 18 Masazas counties, so 8 times 8. So you can know how many square miles, and each square mile is 640 acres. So this is how they look like. Kabula, Usuju, each one of these surrounded by 8 square miles of land, which we believe some of the land can be used administratively, the rest can be used for development. Like we have earmarked a housing estate for low-income earners, low-cost houses at Sentema, which are in final stages with Shelter Freak, and also believe the rest can follow. I'll skip that in the interest of time, as I told you. Our article tells us always just be brief, so people do not forget what you have told them. The table below shows the various categories of land. They are vast. Katikiro, in his official capacity, has got 16 square miles. All this was returned. The Omuwanika, who is the treasurer of the kingdom, 16 square miles. The Mulamuzi, 16 square miles. This land is in various places. It's not in one place. For instance, those who come from Ruel, the whole of Ruel Town Council is Omuwanika's land. The whole of it. So it is in various areas. I've told you the Masasa, you have seen 144 square miles of land is available for investment or development. The sub-counties, each one of them had 49 acres. And by then we had 147 Gombolas. So you multiply that, you get all those square miles. The Namasore, who is the mother of the Kabaka, has 10 square miles. And the Rubuga, who raised with the Kabaka, has got 10 square miles. And also we say other categories not yet ascertained. Part of this memorandum indicates that we need to keep looking for this land wherever it is. So the president gave us those titles. more are coming, but this land is in all the 44 districts of Buganda, including Kabula, Maogola, and Bururi as well. So in a nutshell, originally we have been managing 350 square miles. You add on this one, when we added it up, it came to 223 square miles. So far the title was returned by the president. So closely we are coming to 1,000 square miles, but you know this land is over 3,000 square miles. So those who are interested in development, this land is available for various programs. As of course our colleagues have said in UIA, once you fulfill the various requirements, then what I'm telling is that land is available. We just did here a comparison. For instance, the 227 square miles which has been returned is equivalent almost what the Duke of Westminster has. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending from where you come from, his is worth £6 billion because it has been developed. Ours is yet to be developed, so the value is yet to be ascertained. So this land is available, as I've already told you, for housing. Already I have seen figures talking about the various housing deficits. For Kampala alone, we have a deficit of 165,000 units. And as I've told you now, quite a big part of the city is under now our management as the landlords. Last year I was standing in this same podium. I told you we had already earmarked Chigo for redevelopment, Chigo prison, which had earlier been returned. We have already kickstarted development on this land and a partnership with some Chinese investors. The British are also welcome. We are starting off with 80 acres, and already houses are starting to come up with this month of September, the first phase. So that's the master plan.